70% of everything that they buy from a foreign country comes from the United States because we're so close to them and because they prefer our products.
And this treaty would increase jobs here?
Oh, no question about it.
Because there was an announcement today that it would be minimal either way.
There have been 23 studies of the impact of NAFTA on jobs in the United States. 22 of them have shown that it will cause an increase in jobs in the United States. The one that didn't showed that there would be a decline in illegal immigration, and they counted all of the illegal immigrants as holding jobs, and when they were taken out of the picture, they said that was a decline. Everybody else says it increases jobs in the United States.
On those points.
Okay,
Ross.
Government studies are kind of like weather forecasters before balloons even, and certainly before radar. Now let me give you three. Let me give you three. Now we're back down to common sense. Number one, you remember in the Tax and Budget Summit when they said, watch my lips, no new taxes. Then they gave you a big tax increase, and they told you if you would pay it, they would balance the budget, pay off the debt, and we'd live happily ever after. See, now then, the new president had to raise taxes again because that one didn't work, and you picked up the difference. Now let's go to Medicare. When Medicare was first conceived in 1965,
they estimated,
I'm talking about government forecasts.
Well, look, can we talk about NAFTA?
Larry, I don't interrupt. May I finish?
But he brought up a specific point.
Could I finish?
Yeah, but of course.
I'm saying all government forecasts. How come the facts are?
Well, I don't want to sit here and listen to you just take shots at President Clinton on other subjects.
Well, excuse me, I haven't taken a shot at it. He wasn't here in 1965.
Well, you know, but you talked about we tried to reverse trickle-down economics, and we're proud that we did.
The Tax and Budget Summit occurred before he became president.
Yeah, you went on from that. Why don't we talk about NAFTA?
Excuse me, all I said was he had to raise taxes again. That's hardly a cheap shot.
Well, on the wealthy,
Okay,
my goodness.
Back to the point.
That's the campaign promise.
Let's try to stay on point. He says...
I agree, but
first, are you spending more money than the other side?
Larry, I would really like to finish. I don't interrupt him, and if I could finish.
Okay.
Let me give these two examples. We talked about the inability to forecast the debt, right? And the fact that we have to keep paying more taxes. Then when Medicare came along in 1965, they said it would cost us $9 billion in 1990. It cost us $109 billion. Then when Medicaid came along, they said it would cost $1 billion in 1990. It cost $76 billion in 1990.
Meaning that you don't trust any government forecast?
I'm saying they basically come out with phony numbers. He's talking about these exports.
You're saying that the forecasts on, the forecasts on NAFTA are phony?
Yes. Then, let's take the next one. We say that we're spending more money against NAFTA than they're spending for it. That is not even close to true. It is a matter of record how much Mexico has spent. It is a matter of record how much USA NAFTA has spent. You take...
Why isn't it a matter of record how much you all spend? Can that be a matter of public record? Can you release those numbers?
I really would appreciate being able to speak.
All right. Well, it was a question you raised.
It's a fair question, isn't it?
Excuse me.
I raised it earlier.
It was my understanding tonight we'd have a format where you would ask the questions.
Okay.
And I would be able, I am not able to finish.
But if he makes a statement, I'm just trying to balance so that he answers yours and you answer his. Okay, go ahead.
I would like to finish a sentence.
Okay.
Just once before the program's over. Now, we are not able to buy time. If you are anti-NAFTA, you cannot buy time on the networks. We have had to go buy local station time. We cannot buy network time because the networks won't sell it. That covers on how much you're spending. We didn't run 10-page supplements in the New York Times, et cetera, et cetera,
Okay, now I'd like to respond to that, okay?
Well, let him finish. He's got one more thing.
No, we didn't.
Well, all right, go ahead. I do want to respond.
For the benefit of both of you, our time is equal. You both have spoken equally tonight in time. We're keeping time in the control room so that we're fair.
All right, and on the manufacturing goods, second largest manufacturing good, they send all this phony turnaround stuff and count it as though we sold it to Mexican citizens. Now, people who don't make any money can't buy anything. When you look at the Mexican worker and you go to the Miami Herald and you look at the man who works for Zenith in Mexico and you compare him to his counterpart who works for Zenith in the United States, this poor man makes $8.50 a day. You know what his dream is? To someday have an outhouse. Do you know what his big dream is? To someday have running water. Do you know why these people are desperate for running water? Because Mexico ignores the pollution and environmental laws.
But all this is not without NAFTA.
Yeah, that's all happening
Excuse
now.
me, but this is the prelude to NAFTA. They have strong environmental laws that they don't enforce. Now, just
All right.
one second.
No, let the Vice President respond to that, and then we'll have
if I
French. Go
could.
ahead.
Okay. First of all, you will notice, and the audience will notice, that he does not want to publicly release how much money he's spending, how much money he's received from other sources to campaign against NAFTA. I would like to see those public releases. The other side has made it. Now, let me come to the point that he talked about accuracy of forecasts and numbers. I watched on this program right here at this desk when the war against Iraq was about to take place, and you told Larry King, this is a terrible mistake because it'll lead to the death of 40,000 American troops. You said you had talked to the person who had ordered the caskets. You were wrong about that. You said on Larry King, just before the election, that after Election Day, there would be 100 banks that would fail, costing the taxpayers $100 billion. You were wrong about that. Now, the politics of negativism and fear only go so far.
Right,
you started out
I
as
take a break, and I'll have Ross respond. We'll
That
come
has
right back
nothing to
on
do
Larry
with
King
NAFTA.
Live.
We'll have to fool with it, and
We'll
I'll be happy to.
We'll come right back on Larry King Live. We've got a lot to go. Your calls, too. Don't go away.
This is CNN.
We've been around the fringes here, and I want to get to jobs, but we'll have the Vice President finish his statement, then Mr. Perot respond, and then we'll get to some specifics and your phone calls.
Well, you're getting to the key issue there, because Bill Clinton and I were elected to do something about what's happening to working men and women in this country.
Correct.
They've been losing their jobs. There has been unfair competition from foreign countries that don't let our products in, even though we buy their products. This will help to stop that. Some people want to stay with the status quo, just keep things the way they are. We want to open up these barriers. And let me give you a specific example. Valmont Electric Company in Danville, Illinois, less than a year ago, was trying to sell products into Mexico. They've got a 13% tax at the border. We have a zero tax coming the other way. They closed down in Danville, 400 jobs lost. They opened up in Mexico with 100 jobs down there, and now they ship their products duty-free back into the United States through the Alliance Airport, which is the free trade zone that Mr. Perot's company has set up for. It's kind of a private free trade zone outside of Dallas, and they take Valmont Electric's products and distribute them through the United States duty-free. Now, if we passed NAFTA, that 13% tax that they have at their border would be gone, and companies like Valmont could stay here in the United States, sell their products in Mexico, and not have to go down there to get over the
Are
barrier.
you saying that Mr. Perot is personally benefiting by attacking NAFTA?
I think he has set it up so that he will benefit financially either way. But if NAFTA passes, if NAFTA is defeated, this family business that has a free trade zone outside of Dallas will continue to distribute products coming from Mexico into the rest of the United States. What is the deal with the alliance?
I think I'll explain it, but what we see here tonight is why our country is $4 trillion in debt, going $1 billion in debt every working day. Nobody ever focuses on the real problems. Now, I'm going to try to say this as simply as I can. Alliance Airport is in Fort Worth, Texas, not in Mexico. Alliance Airport is owned by the city of Fort Worth, not my son. Can you shake your head on that?
No, the
Alliance Airport, check the FAA, is owned by the city of Fort Worth.
You don't have
The
ownership
airport.
of
The airport.
of the
Now, I'm gonna
Alliance Corridor Incorporated?
Please,
I'll let him finish.
please, let's have an unnatural event and try not to interrupt me.
Okay.
Now, my son owns land adjoining the airport. Now, the purpose of that land is to build factories and warehouses so that industrial goods can be moved by rail and by air.
from the
Just
airport.
now, watch my lips. The jobs will be created in Texas. Texas is in the United